Hey everyone, Maury Dunbar here. Welcome back to Painted Studio. It is a cold and damp and rainy day here in the Chicago area, and we are just going to plow into holiday stuff because it makes me feel good. So we have been working on our 2-foot long nutcrackers, 2-foot tall nutcrackers, and today we're finally going to do the Tamise part of this one. Now, let me grab the gold one. If you look at our gold guy here, we've done a lot on here. He has touch-up spots that I need to deal with, but I'm going to do that off camera. Just because all it really requires is more gold leaf size and more either gold leaf or more gold Tamise. This guy we've only done the leafing on. So we have leafed his suit, the top of his crown, and the little areas on his knees. Now I'm going to set him on his back right now. And we're going to get moving on to other areas. And the one thing I didn't have, and I know they make it, I just don't have it, is a gold and silver Tamise flake. So I saved up all my leftover skewings from the silver leaf and from other projects. I mean, there's a ton of stuff in here. I had a lot of leftover compositions silver, which is aluminum. And then I added our gold Tamise flakes to it to make what I needed, because that's what I do. So obviously this is not one that we sell, but I can, it's not hard to make. I kept all the little skewings from using the aluminum leaf or faux silver and added our gold Tamise flake to it. And now we're just going to sprinkle it everywhere. And it's going to look different than this Tamise flake, because this one is the solid gold and it's a more fine cut. If you look here in the stuff that I made up in the studio, you can see the silver flakes are bigger than the gold flakes, and that's fine. That's exactly what I want. I don't want it to be exactly the same. Also, just a heads up, things have changed around with my social media young man. He has moved on to bigger and better things, and I cannot wish him well enough. He's an awesome person. There's absolutely no negative feelings. It's just I'm too small for him now. So I will be on the hunt for a new social media manager. And if you know anybody, please send me a message or post it here on this thread. I definitely could use the information. Somebody who's used to helping small creative businesses. It would be fantastic. All right, so let's flip the camera down. Let's move that. Let me get the paintbrush heads out of the way. There we go. I need to make sure that I'm actually in the camera view. Let's go down just a little bit and push this forward just a little bit, because I want this guy showing. You don't need to see much of me. All right, so I'm kind of going in here, and this isn't like as completely mixed as I wanted it to be, because quite frankly, it's messy. If I had put it in a bigger container, see, I'm puffing air and it's blowing. If I put it in a bigger container, it'd probably be better, but this is what I had. This is what I was using, so whatever. And I'm taking pinches of this, and as you can see, I'm just sort of patting it on the surface. Now, this is messy, sloppy, messy, messy, messy stuff, so be aware of that. Do this when you have nothing else going on in the studio or in your work area, and be prepared. Now, I'm doing this on parchment paper because it makes it easier for me to clean up, plus nothing sticks to the parchment, and it makes me very happy that way. All right, let's come up here. Let's do the legs. And I'm just going to sort of do everything on top and then roll it, and then we'll try to get more done. Whether I get this all done, I hope I should get most of this done during the live, if not all of it, because I have other things to do, because we still have to address how I'm going to handle the face and that sort, and the hands and that sort of thing. So here's a little bit here, here's a little bit on here, and yes, I did put foil adhesive up under here, but I don't know how well this is going to stick because this is cross grain, so sometimes things don't stick as well, but it's actually sticking okay. I wasn't sure if I was going to have like a no stick situation, but it's all right. It's actually holding up okay. Now this is going to shed stuff everywhere when I roll it. I know that. I expect it. So I'm giving it a little rub down. I'm trying to get every surface that is in this direction patted down. And then we're going to roll it this way. Sorry, I'm touching my phone, and then it means I'm touching parts of the camera that I shouldn't be touching, and oh Lord, I just make a mess. All right, so let's do this. Let's get the sword. And like I said, I fully expect this to be messy, 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 messy. Doesn't bother me, especially since I knew it when I was going into it, that I was going to be making a big mess with this stuff today, but I love how this looks. I love this gritty kind of textural combination of metals, and it all makes me super happy. Now, just be aware, I didn't open up my iPad today, so if you all are commenting or asking questions, I'm actually not going to see it. So please feel free to post any of your questions in the comments, and after I'm done with the live, I'll go back and check to see what's going on. Come on. Come on. All right, let's get more here. All right, I'm going to take some of this stuff that I've already had fall off, mix it all in together with each other, and we're going to work on the legs over here again. I really love how this is going to look. It's already doing just what I wanted it to do. I'm getting sort of this brindled, for want of a better term, metallic look. Pop that open so I can get the back of the legs here. Now, I applied my gold leaf size on here a couple days ago and then ended up not feeling very well. Now, I did not do a good job applying the adhesive back here, so not surprising. Sometimes I miss spots. I will come back and reapply and then put more of this on. And the nice thing is, especially with the Tamise flakes like this, it's really, really forgiving. So if I have a patch spot, you can't even tell after I've done it. And let's get the back of this leg. I found a couple times this week that I'd been using a paintbrush that had too much water in it, and so my adhesives were not grabbing things properly, both my foil and my gold leaf size, and that is totally on me. With me being sloppy. Oh yeah, I didn't even get any in here on the inside of this leg. I missed a whole lot on here. It happens. I'm telling you, when you have a whole lot of surfaces to do stuff on, you can miss spots without any question. Okay, let's get the back here of this wrist. Hope you all are getting ready for Thanksgiving or whatever fall holidays it is that you celebrate. As you know, those of us in the creative fields tend to work a little ahead of schedule. I've definitely done my share of Christmas in July stuff because sometimes you need that much time to get everything done before the holidays roll around. Be honest about it. Sometimes getting Christmas near Christmas season is not easy. So let's get that other shoulder epaulette over there. Okay, we're going to roll. Get the, let's get this end of the sword, which I know is not facing you all, but it is facing me, so I can see where it is. And I'm just, as you can see, I am literally just grabbing up whatever has fallen because I'm not going to waste it. Now, I'm putting money on that there's a better way to do this than the way I'm doing it. However, I haven't found that yet. And especially on little things, I don't need big fancy tools. I need the ability just to clean up after myself. All right, let's get that on here. So obviously this gets very messy looking before it gets very pretty. All right, now I'm going to rub this first with my hands. There is a few spots in between the legs that I've missed. Let's get that there. Let's get that there. Let's see if I can feel anything. Now I did miss a whole big old spot on the leg with the size, so I still have to do that. Let me now come up here and start working the crown. I'm going to zoom in for that so you can see a little bit of what I'm doing. A little better. Okay, there's the face, or the back of the head actually. And I'm going in here and kind of tossing this just a little bit because there's a lot of silver that settled down at the bottom. Because this was mostly silver to begin with, and then I put the gold in. And that kind of, I overfilled it, so it was really hard to kind of toss it. Now I can do it. Working to keep this in the screenshot so you all can see what I'm doing. Or in the screen, not in the screenshot. This is what happens. Sometimes when I'm working, my words kind of disappear on me. I can only do so many things at once. If I want to do them well, I have to kind of pay attention. Also checking stuff like the tops of the shoulder epaulettes as I turn things around because I can't always see them from every angle that's good for the camera. So I'm trying to catch them as I go around. Okay, let's do this. There, get it back in the screen. Again, we're just coming up here. Oops, clunk. Slid off, feet slid off the edge of the table, which actually makes things a little easier for me. Okay. Now I did put foil adhesive on the inside of the edges of the crown. I just don't know how much is sticking. Well, it looks like we're getting a lot of sticking, but I do have to manipulate it a little bit just to make sure I haven't missed spots. Now, because I get sticky stuff all over my hands, I do end up with some pretty interesting manicures. It doesn't bother me, it just entertains me. Okay, I think I've got all of that done. All right, so we're going to open the screen back up. And as you can see, the paper is filled with flakes. But before I go too far to clean it up, I'm going to grab a brush and we're going to start clearing it off. Now, I'll try this one here. So what I'm doing both is patting down into the crevices, and then this is also kind of breaking off some of the excess flake. And if I find a little bald spot, I go back in with my fingers, fill it in. And there are definitely spots that are missed here. That's not a big deal. This is so easy to patch up. And I think part of the reason I don't miss spots like this if I'm not talking on the camera, but I get distracted when I'm doing live sometimes. So it's really easy for me to miss spots because I'm also trying to convey information. So like the whole inside of this leg right here, that has no foil, no gold leaf size on there at all. And I've missed a spot here and I've missed a spot there. So there's spots. I didn't put any underneath the sword, which I had meant to do. And that must have missed that corner, because, oh no, I didn't, it's sticking. Sometimes I think I miss spots and I haven't. Again, this is inexpensive wood, so sometimes the adhesive can soak into the wood too, even though it's been painted, because it's kind of coarse. So if I've got a cross grain spot, that will do that. Around. Let's get some of this off. Now, if I was working with real gold or true silver, I would be using a much softer brush, but then again, the leaf would be thinner and finer, and it would not need this much effort to remove the extra stuff. right now, all I'm really doing is just breaking off the majority of the excess, patching in any little spots that I see that I can, that have adhesive on it. And then we'll set it upright, and we'll dust this with a fine cloth, or a soft cloth, not a fine cloth, soft cloth. And your fingers are very useful in this. None of this metal is going to tarnish, so I don't worry about the oils from my skin transferring and causing any oxidation, because that's not what these metals do. All right, let's flip it upright. I'm going to move the camera upright so you can see where I'm at, which is really, really close to the camera right now. All right, so let's come over here, get these. It's like it's snowing leaf. It's been snowing leaf in my studio for weeks right now. Every time I go somewhere, my son looks at the top of my head and tries to figure out if there's glitter or leaf in my hair. Because there's always something stuck to my scalp that isn't what God had growing there. A little extra. Getting a little fancy. That's what my son used to call it. He's like, "You're fancy today, Mom. You're sparkly." When he was little. He was very cute with it. Okay, I think I've got the majority of that knocked off. All right, I'm going to come in with a soft cloth. This is old flour sack towel. Under the arms. That's the hard part. Some of these spots are just a challenge to get into. And then I just rub it to make sure it's all adhered and any of the extra is broken off. And I keep all this stuff that I shed here because it goes right back in the same container and it's good for another project. I don't waste any of this. I have done a lot of foiled and painted nutcrackers for my niece and nephew, but this is the first set of gilded ones that I'm doing. Just keep rubbing everything, making sure it's all pressed down. Once I get all this off, I'll see where I need to put more adhesive on, more gold leaf size on, to do any of the touch-ups too. All right, let's shift this a little bit over. All right, I gotta lay this back down. Well, actually I need it upright one more minute just because I gotta get the stuff out of the under the arms. Clear out those armpits of this, this gold leaf and the Tamise flakes. Okay, let's flip this back down. Again, coming in here, up under the bottom here, breaking any of that extra off. Now all of this will be sealed just for the protection of it, not because it's going to tarnish, but you know, this kind of stuff gets put away, it gets stored, it gets banged against other things in this, you know, when you put them away. So I want to make sure that there's a protective coating on here. So I'll use my Whitson's Universal Lacquer for Leaf, which will provide a beautiful seal on here. But I'm not doing that until everything else is done. Until I know every last bit of this is the way I want it. Oh, I almost forgot. I did do the front of the Nutcracker area right there. Okay, as I go around and rub the rest of this off, I'll deal with that. Push that down, and there's a little bit that needs some attention later. Just a couple along the edges, and I did do the top of that. Looks like I'm feeding him Tamise flakes, which I sort of am. Getting it down back in there. Sorry, no, that was off camera. I was shoving them in the back here too, because I got the whole mouth inside done with these. And I know that's almost impossible to see from the way I've got it, but I did do that in there. I gotta polish those down. All right, so I'm just gonna knock it a little bit to see if there's any loose stuff I can knock off. I'm gonna set that to the side. I'm gonna shake out my little rag here, because everything gets the flakes in it. And if you could see what my clothes look like, even with the apron on, well, most of you wouldn't be surprised. Anybody who knows me knows I usually have stuff all over me. Okay, I'm going to take all of this. Oh, my paper is sticking together because I have adhesive everywhere. Let's see if I can get some of this other stuff, because, you know, the paper slides around. This stuff blows into clouds everywhere. At least for the moment, this is enough. So it looked like I used a ton, but look how much has come back into the container. And let's see if there's any more in this paper that wants to come out. If it's stuck to some, I spilled adhesive on here before, so working on a different video. All right, let's close that up. So the next thing we're going to address is what I'm going to be doing with the faces and the hands, because those haven't been painted or gilded or anything yet. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the silver one. And for his head and hands, I'm going to use C. Roberson's Old Silver. So this will have a beautiful deep dark color. It's a new jar, so it's not going to want to open for me. Ugh. Okay. I'm going to have to bang this jar edge, so if you don't like sharp noises, turn the volume down now until you see me pull the lid off of this. There we go. Lid's off. Turn your volume back up. So Old Silver is this beautiful dark silvery gray color. It's perfect for what we're going to do here. Let me find a brush that I want to use. This will work. This is the last of this jar. So we're going to do this, and we're going to paint the hands and the head this Old Silver color. Now I will obviously paint facial features and stuff, but the first thing I need to do is get the hands and the head painted. I am not putting hair on these like I did the ones from last year. I bought faux fur to do a little bit of hair on those. That's not what's going to happen here. These are all just going to be paint and metal. And there's still plenty of stuff for me to come in here and break off. But for the sake of the live, I wanted to come in and do this. So if it looks a little untidy at first, don't worry, I'll fix it. But I want to come in here and get the hands and the head and the base. The base will be done with this as well. Why? Because I usually do lettering on here, and doing lettering on metal flakes is not easy. It works better if I'm doing it on a painted surface. Okay, let me come under there. Now I won't put any more flakes on here until this paint is dry, so that won't be until tomorrow. I want to give it plenty of time because this, even if it's dry to the touch, it may have a slight damp stickiness to it that the flakes will adhere to, and I don't want that to happen. All right, I'm going to come in here and get the inside of, because I don't want any flat paint on this to show anywhere. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to get into the well for the Nutcracker handle, the well, the recess, whatever you want to call it. And this is a lot of cross-section wood, so it's a little rough to paint. Like, it doesn't want to grab really well. I mean, my brush is soft, so that's part of the issue. I'm working with a very soft brush that I was using for the idea of a smaller surface, and quite frankly, I'm doing a larger one. Now I get the underside of this handle too. Let me come back in here and get the top of the hand. I know you can't see where I'm painting it, but it's down up, or I should say it's up behind the sword. So it's a little bit of a tough spot. Now let me turn this way so I can get this side and get all the spots I missed with the paint because I couldn't see it. Ooh, don't do that. Stay open. Not that it'll hurt it, I just don't want it to glue itself shut with paint. This is not the best brush for going in here, I can tell you that. But I'm trying to only use one brush, and well, like usual, you know, sometimes I make my life a little harder. I'm trying to brush with the grain of the wood because that makes it a little easier. Check the back of this hand because I know there's spots that I missed. Again, you got to roll these things around to make sure you've got all the angles. All right, let's get the head here. Get the piece of leaf off of that brush. Now this product is such a great paint. It's interior, exterior rated, dries super hard, has some lovely leveling properties. This is an old jar. This jar, I think I might have brought it from the UK, so this might be a couple years old. It's the very last of this jar. Because when I first started thinking about bringing these paints in, I brought home from London a whole lot of little jars to try them out and see if they worked, and then fell in love with them, and so now we have them in bigger sizes. And you can buy them from us on special order in sizes from 1 liter, which is over a quart, to 2.5 liters, which is a little over half a gallon, to 5 liters, which is over a gallon. But we have the 8 ounce and the 1 ounce sizes easily available for you on our website. I just did a job with somebody who bought this product and did an entire ceiling in it, and it, oh my god, it's so beautiful. So incredibly beautiful. All right, let's get in here. And she was really impressed with how far the product went. She put it on over Benjamin Moore Aura for her base color and used about 2.5 quarts of product in 2 coats, and it just covered so beautifully and gave such a rich reflection. So don't think you're limited to small projects with this. You can do all kinds of sizes. And because this is interior exterior rated, it does not have to be sealed. I seal stuff that might be handled. Ceiling, nobody's going to handle a ceiling. Wall, nobody's going to handle the wall that way. Stuff like this, it gets knocked over, gets pushed around, gets put in bins and stuff for the season. So yeah, I seal this up for extra protection. Not because the paint can't handle it, but because I can't. All right, let's make sure we got that nose painted well, underneath as well. And I'm painting the inside of the mouth as I go along. Now the inside of the mouth is going to require more than just the way I'm doing it now. It's going to require me to open it and close it and move things around a whole lot. But for this is the beginning of it. All right, let me set that upright. Here. So I'm going to flip this camera up so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going in here, just inside the Nutcracker jaw. Inside the mouth. Sorry, this has got to be away from the camera because I have got to see. And then I'm going to flip the camera back down because we're going to do the pedestal around his feet. Let me find my little rag here again so I can clean up around the base to get the feet, because I don't want any of that extra stuff floating down into the paint or grabbing up and creating lumps in the paint or anything like that. Come on. You got a little bit stuck right there. Where's my brush? Okay, let's move things a little bit to the center. Ooh, that's not what I meant to do. I just blocked him on his leg. Oops. Well, it's not like I can't fix that. Okay, and again, I try to go with the grain. It makes the paint spread better, but there are places that you just can't, like between the feet. So you have to work it as best you can. Okay. And if you don't like how this dries after one coat, if you think it looks a little streaky, which can happen especially as it gets a little older, it'll dry beautifully and the second coat will make it look pretty much flawless. Okay, come on. Okay, let's go here. Let's get around the foot here. there's glue and stuff on the base of this. That's something I have to deal with. I just have to pretend I don't see it because that's, unless I wanted to get in there with a Dremel, which I don't, to sand down that glue, which I don't. That little blob is just part of what's there. Come in here, get around the edge of the feet a little tighter. All right. And now we're going to get the base. Okay, this side is cross cut, so it's a little harder to paint because the grain is coarse here. So I try to brush initially with how the grain is going, and then I'll smooth it out at the end. This requires a little finessing of the paint. Silver off there. Let's get this back side. Alright, there's that last cross grain side to deal with. And cross grain means it's like the end cut on a plank of wood. The plank is all with the grain, but the ends here is where you get against the grain. So that's the cross cut or end grain. And that can be a little bit of extra work. Okay, so, oops, missed a little spot on the face. And the nose. Oh, on the nose actually, that's a little glue. So we're going to flip the camera up so you can see where we're going with this guy. So you can see we have the face in old silver, Roberson's. We have the body gilded, and then the base is gilded. Little bits of the old silver on everything. The next thing we have to do is get to our other one, the gold one. Make sure I wipe some stuff off of here. So again, he has some touch-up spots too, but I want to get to the gold paint. So I'm going to lie him down. We'll do some of the other spots. I just want to make sure I've got no loose spots. This one is far better cleaned up than the silver one is. I haven't gotten as far with the silver one as I did with this guy. Let's flip it down. And for this one, on the face, the hands, and the base, I'm going to use C. Roberson's Regency Gold. And I'm going to give it a shake, grab a different brush. Let's see what brushes I have that are in good shape right now, because I have a whole lot of brushes that are sitting in water. So I have to kind of flip through some stuff. What have I got? Here, this one should be okay. I generally prefer the Taklon ones, but if I'm going to go into odd spots like I did last time, the white nylon's better. So here we go. See Roberson's on the hands. And we're going to do it on the drumsticks as well. Now this is a very new, fresh jar. I just grabbed it off the shelf because I'd used the last of this Regency Gold on another project. Okay, let's get the drumsticks here. I feel like I'm talking about chicken, not a nutcracker. And there are definitely spots that I still need to gild on this. No questions. There's a few spots that I missed with the adhesive. So I'll come back in and get that. When you apply the gold leaf size, it turns clear very quickly, so it's really, really easy to miss spots. Okay, let's see what I've missed. All right, I missed here, on the inside of the hand, missed on the back of the hand here. Probably missed the underside of the drumstick too. I always plan for things to be in stages so that I have easier touch-ups and stuff. Makes my life easier. I'm going to go in the mouth. And as I roll this, I will see more of what I'm missing. Because each turn shows me that there's a place that I didn't get. Okay, let's set this way. And we'll start with the face. Again, like the other one, I will put features on that. But for the moment, the face is just going to get its coloring, which is our Regency gold. And I wanted it to be a distinctly different gold than the rest of the Nutcracker, so it didn't look like I tried to match and missed. I want an intentional contrast, not an accidental one. Okay, let's roll again over here, and there's where I missed on the bottom of his wrist. Okay. Let's get the back of the head. Really, I could use like 4 different sizes of brushes to do this.